Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we're going to be going over the all-new F-150 Lightning, and I'm going to make this as unbiased as possible. I know some people seem to think that I like certain brands over the other, but I really don't. I just care about who makes the coolest vehicle. I don't care about what badge is on a vehicle, I just care about how cool it is. And also, obviously we'll be talking about the Ram TRX in today's video because this does affect the TRX slightly, but mostly we will be comparing it to the Tesla Cybertruck, and so yeah, let's get right into it. First off, let's quickly get into the specs of the F-150 Lightning if you haven't seen the launch. So Ford has stated that it's going to be a 2022 and that it'll most likely arrive in spring of 2022 in terms of the first ones that get ordered and all of that. And then there's two main models that they kind of released at the launch. There's a standard range and then there's an extended range. And as for the standard range, it has 426 horsepower is what they stated it to be, and then 775 pound-feet of torque. Now, that's kind of interesting because the extended range has the same amount of torque, 775 pound-feet, but it's got more horsepower, 563. So you get a little bit more horsepower, and then you get more range as well. The standard range is 230 miles, which is actually really good for an electric truck. There's not a whole, there's really nothing on the market right now for electric trucks. A lot of people have said they're going to make something, and nobody really has. And then the extended range will be about 300 miles of range. They'll both be four-wheel drive. And then the charge time, this is the thing that I think is really cool. So the charge time on the standard range is 44 minutes for 80% of the charge. And then for the extended range, 41 minutes, again, for 80% of the charge, which I think that's pretty quick if you ask me to get it mostly charged up. Like if you're going on a road trip, you can pretty much just take a lunch break. And I mean, that's a lot of electric cars nowadays, but it's cool they do that with the truck. Payload capacity, now this is going to be, it sounds like the upper end of payload is until you start adding options and everything. 2,000 pounds for the standard range and then 1,800 pounds for the extended range. Makes sense, the extended range has more battery stuff, so it's going to be heavier, so you're going to have a lower payload. But towing capacity is more on the extended range. It's 10,000 pounds for the extended, and then standard range is going to be 7,700 pounds for the towing capacity. And they're built off of F-150s, so they have that same length and everything. So 232 inches with that. And then my favorite part is they both have frunks. You guys know that I think that frunks are awesome. Electric cars, pretty much every electric car has a frunk, or if you get like a mid-engine sports car, it'll have a frunk. But yes, you actually will get a frunk in the F-150 Lightning, which, yeah, that'll be, I don't know, I think that's pretty funny. Now, aside from those initial specs on it, let's actually talk about the pricing. So Ford stated the price will start at just under $40,000. You add destination charge to a base model truck and you're going to be at $40,000 plus taxes, all that kind of stuff. And then they say up to over $90,000. And I'll kind of get into this in just a second. But pretty much no one's going to order a base model truck unless you're getting it for a work truck. Most people are going to order like an XLT or a Lariat. And on Ford's website, they said that an XLT, for example, will start at about $52,000. So it sounds like the F-150 Lightning is pretty much just going to be a little bit more expensive than a regular F-150 with all the packages. And that's why I imagine it goes up to over $90,000. And so it sounds like it's going to take a pretty similar trim style approach to what the regular F-150 has. So you'll have like your base model work truck and then the XLT and then the Lariat. And then I don't know if they'll do a King Ranch. That would be pretty interesting to have a Western themed electric truck because, right, electric vehicles are supposed to be modern. So usually you have like more of a modern theme. But then, I mean, they could do that spin on it. I think that would be pretty funny. I don't know if they'll do it, but I'm sure they'll at least offer a platinum and then a limited. And so I'm guessing that the $90,000 MSRP, I'm guessing that is a limited with the extended range and pretty much every option. So that's pretty much what it seems like it's going to be from a trim package standpoint. Is it's going to be just like the regular F-150, but obviously it's going to be a little bit more expensive than a regular F-150. Now let's just briefly talk about styling with the F-150 Lightning. So exterior styling, it looks pretty similar to the new generation F-150, just a little bit different with the headlights and all that. And then I imagine they are going to change, they have changed some things on the exterior as well to make it a little bit more aerodynamic. They typically do that with electric vehicles. And then the other stuff is with the interior on the new F-150 Lightning. I think it's a good looking interior. It really reminds me of like the new Mustang Mach-E. I think that they're going for, well, kind of like mix that because of the screen in the center, mix that with obviously an F-150 interior. And so you guys know I'm a huge fan of the new F-150 interior, and then you add again like the screen and everything from the Mach-E, and that's pretty much what it looks like. So Nice interior. I have no complaints on that whatsoever. And then exterior, I don't really think it's necessarily a beautiful vehicle. It's just an F-150, but it looks a little bit different with the different stylized lighting and everything. And so, yeah, that's kind of everything on styling, and that's why I didn't want to spend too much time on it. Now, what I wanted to spend more time on is comparing this to the Tesla Cybertruck, and then I'm sure some people are also going to ask about Rivian and Hummer and all that kind of stuff. Here's what I have to say about both of them, and this is why I don't want to talk about those ones too much. I mostly want to focus on the Tesla Cybertruck. First off, with Rivian, that one is kind of all over the place, right? They've got billions of dollars of funding, and they say they're going to have a truck out soon, but I mean, they aren't really proven like the other three companies. Like Tesla's made vehicles, GM has made vehicles, Ford's made vehicles, Rivian, not really. So that one is cool, and it sounds like it'll be a good competitor, but until they actually send trucks out to customers, I don't really want to focus on it. Now, aside from Rivian, we've got the Hummer. The reason that I also don't want to focus on the Hummer is just because of the price. I mean, the Hummer is going to be, again, kind of like your bougie, like high-class, crazy luxury electric vehicle. Tons of torque, tons of cool features, right? It's got the crab walk. It's going to be really cool off-road and all that kind of stuff with the air suspension and everything. But again, it's over 6 figures, and I'm sure once you fully spec one out, it's going to be close to $200,000. That's at least my personal guess, and so it's not really in the same range. Like I maybe some people will be cross shopping this with the new F-150, but I doubt it. I think that if someone's gonna be buying a Hummer, they're gonna be buying a Hummer, and if someone's gonna be buying an F-150, they're gonna be buying an F-150 because it fits within their budget and all that kind of stuff. So again, I don't really think that those two are really as comparable. Again, with Rivian, because of, you know, until they actually have a vehicle produced, I don't care about them. And then with GM, it's just super expensive. Now, the Cybertruck is the one that I'm the most excited for in terms of the comparison with the F-150 Lightning, because it seems like it's very comparable. The pricing is about the same for all the different packages. You're $39,000 starting, then like $50,000 for a mid-level, and then $70,000 starting for like a high-level package. And then I'm sure a Cybertruck fully loaded is going to be just as much as a fully loaded Lightning at around $90,000. And then the range is pretty similar, 250 starting, 300 for the mid, and then they have said that they'll do like 500 miles for like a higher-end package. And then horsepower and torque, a little bit more, right? Up to 800 horsepower, up to 1,000 pound-feet of torque. And so they definitely, obviously the Cybertruck definitely has that package that's going to have more power, more torque than the F-150 Lightning, and then a much longer range, right? The 500-mile range. But aside from that, again, pricing's about the same. Range for several of the packages is about the same, and then I'm sure that the horsepower for several of the packages is going to be about the same. So then you have similar 0 to 60s, and so it really puts us in this place where we finally have, like, at the same time, a direct competitor to Tesla that is actually going to be pulling people in either direction, right? Do you go with Ford, which is this well-established brand that's been making vehicles for over 100 years, or do you go with the new EV company that has tons of hype behind it, and, right, everyone wants a Tesla, right? A Tesla at this point is kind of like a fashion piece. You wear a Tesla as much as you drive it, right? And so it's kind of, I really think it's gonna be one of those things where buyers are gonna be pulled both directions really hard, and here are my thoughts on it now. Now, for me personally, I'm actually not interested in either vehicle, but I'm going to put myself in the mindset of someone who's interested in either vehicle. So if I were to be deciding if do I want to buy the Cybertruck or do I want to buy the F-150 Lightning, I'm gonna look at a bunch of things as a truck buyer. First off, I'm gonna look at long-term reliability. And that kind of pushes me over towards Ford. Now, Teslas have shown to be actually pretty reliable long-term. I've seen quite a few with well over 100,000 miles, and they actually still do really good. But we still haven't had Tesla around for long enough to see really, really long-term reliability. Like, what's a Tesla going to be like after it's 20, 30 years old, right? So again, we just haven't been able to see that yet. But I guess I'll give them the benefit of the doubt because so far they've been pretty good. However, Ford, right, they have their proven reliability track record, and right, no manufacturer is perfect, right? Ford has its issues just like Tesla has its issues, but Ford's been making vehicles for over 100 years, and so because they have that, they have massive infrastructure built around obviously building the vehicles and then also maintaining them and all that, and so you do have that benefit going for it. And The biggest thing in terms of reliability is Ford's been building trucks for a very long time. They know how to build trucks. Tesla's never built a truck before. Tesla's built really cool, fast EV sports cars, sedan. Well, sports car was the Roadster, and now they're doing a new Tesla Roadster. But sports sedans and sport SUVs, they've never built a truck before. And so this is going to be their first truck. And I'm sure they'll do an amazing job. They always do a good job with their cars. But I'm sure that there's going to be a lot of stuff they're going to have to work out and a lot of improvements they're going to have to make to really get this truck solid. Whereas when you go over to Ford, you know they know how to build trucks. And so it's going to be able to do truck stuff. It's going to work. Yeah, I'm sure that there's going to be things that pop up because the F-150 Lightning is their first fully electric truck. But I don't think it's going to be as much as what you're going to encounter with Tesla because, right, and it's kind of coming from two different dynamics, right? This is Ford's first fully electric truck, and then this is Tesla's first fully electric truck, but they're coming from different angles. Ford knows how to build trucks. Tesla knows how to build electric vehicles, obviously. And so I think it's going to be all over the place a little bit, but I kind of, again, this is just my personal view. I kind of have a little bit more faith on the Ford side of things. And then other stuff, right? Capability and all that. It's like everything I've read so far, it seems like they're going to be pretty similar. Obviously the Tesla, on a lot of figures, it sounds like it's going to be more, right? Payload's going to be way more, 3,500 pounds, towing capacity over 14,000 pounds is what they said, all that kind of stuff. But until they have a working model out, we'll actually see what ends up happening in terms of the real world payload and towing and range and all that kind of stuff. And same thing with the F-150 electric, but I guess that I have a little bit more faith in Ford because they already make trucks, and they already make trucks like they already have F-150s that have payload capacities around 2,000 pounds. They already have F-150s that can tow around 10,000 pounds. So when Ford says, hey, we're going to make this EV truck that's going to tow this much, I'm like, okay, I believe you. But when Tesla says, hey, we're going to make this EV truck that's going to tow this much, have this much range, all this kind of stuff, I'm like, you're probably going to do it, but until I see it, I'm not exactly just going to jump on and say, yeah, that's completely factual and that's exactly what's going to happen. Now, the other thing I'm going to look at as a buyer is going to be production. So Tesla obviously announced the Cybertruck I feel like it's been like well over a year at this point. They announced the Cybertruck a while ago, and COVID got in the way of everyone, and so obviously everything's delayed. But again, they say that the Cybertruck's going to be out at the end of this year or the beginning of next year. I'm kind of doubtful on that. I think it's going to take a little bit longer than they're saying. But where Ford already has F-150s that they're building right now, right? Again, this isn't like it's new, but it's not like it's crazy new, right? They're using an F-150 platform. And so I think that Ford's going to be able to get the manufacturing process started, and they're going to be able to get trucks out. I bet that we're going to see F-150 Lightnings before we see Cybertrucks. That's just my guess. And so I guess that's something else to consider is you're probably going to get the F-150 Lightning before you get the Cybertruck. And on top of that, especially if you didn't get like an early allocation with the manufacturer, I'm sure that Ford's going to be able to ramp up and just get way more truck. Even if they start later than Tesla, I feel like they're just going to be able to get up with the manufacturing at a faster rate than Tesla. And so I guess that's something else to consider is when you're actually going to get the vehicle, right? The Cybertruck, maybe it'll come out this year, maybe it won't be till next year, right? You don't know. Whereas I have a little bit more faith with Ford because they just have proven their reliability track record in terms of getting stuff out. So I guess if I came to a conclusion, I would pick the new F-150 Lightning over the Tesla Cybertruck. And again, it's for all the reasons I mentioned in the video. And again, I get it. Teslas are so cool. They've got cool technology, and it's something you wear as much as you drive. But I mean, yeah, if I'm just being realistic, I think that the F-150 Lightning I think that it's going to come out earlier. It's going to be a little bit more reliable initially. I'm sure it'll have its things that break and everything that they've got to work out kink-wise, but I just think it's going to be a better ownership experience initially. But then, a few years down the road, I'm sure they'll work everything out with the Cybertruck like they have, for the most part, with the rest of Tesla's lineup. But yeah, I'm not going to be one of those people that's going to jump in and buy the first version of something when it comes from a newer manufacturer like Tesla. And that's going to sum things up with my initial thoughts on the new F-150 Lightning. I will see all of you guys in the next video.